Hey everyone! Today I'm sharing another process video for another interactive layout in my Life Crafted album, and this one is documenting like 7 different stories I think I have throughout the month of October for kind of Halloween and October festivities. And this layout is going to be made completely with digital files, printables, and a cut file from Citrus Twist Kits. So here I have 2 patterns that I printed out from the Citrus Twist Kits Spooky Digital Collection. They had some digital journaling cards that I just kind of enlarged to form these pattern papers to fit outside the page protector. And I also have a whole bunch of 3x4 journaling cards and a couple of 4x6 ones, I think, that I printed out with some photos on the backs of them and my journaling typed up. And I also have this cut file that I've cut out with my Brother Scanning Cut machine. These were designed by our very own Ashley Horton, who's also on the design team. And this was cut out using some black glitter cardstock. And I just resized that to fit approximately 4 inches wide instead of the usual 5 inches wide. To save some time in this video, I've already backed the Hocus Pocus letters as well as the stars with some coordinating colors that coordinated with the digital kit. And I also backed the round part with the witch in it with some vellum. I also have a few pieces of white cardstock cut down here. One is 7 inches tall by 3.5 inches wide, so that my witch cut file just kind of slightly overlaps over the right and the left edges of that piece. And I did score on the 7th inch side at 1/2 inch. Then I have one piece that is 4 inches tall by 3.5 inches wide, and again I scored on that longer edge, that 4-inch edge, at 1/2 inch. And then I have a piece that is 8 inches by 1 5/8 inches tall. And really you can make this as tall or as skinny as you want, but I recommend like about 1 to 2 inches. And I scored on the 8-inch side at 1/2 inch and 4.25 inches so that you get this belly band that's a bit wider than these other pieces of white cardstock that I've cut out. So the idea is that the larger pieces of white cardstock are going to go on the bottom and the top of this page and kind of hold all of the photos in. And that belly band is going to be kind of like a closure mechanism to hold everything in place. Now, I do need another flap on this right side of the page to prevent all of my inserts from coming out of the right side. So I'm going to cut a piece of vellum at 6.25 inches tall by 2.5 inches wide, and then score it on the 2.5 inch side at 2 inches. So then there's a 1/2 inch hinge that I can use to attach to the back of the page. You can make this as tall as you want or as short as you want, but I would recommend about at least 4 inches because this is what's going to prevent all of your inserts from coming out the side. And then on the left side, it's kind of blocked by the binder rings, so I'm not really concerned about my inserts falling out that side. Once that's done, I'm just going to round the 2 left-sided corners with my We Are Memory Keepers rounded corner chomper. This is the 1/2 inch rounded corner, and that's just to give it kind of like a bit more of a finished effect because I am going to be rounding the corners on my other flaps with the white cardstock later on. Once that's done, I'm going to just carefully fold over this hinge here on the vellum piece and apply some 3/8 inch score tape between the fold line and the edge of that vellum there. And that's going to form the hinge that I can use to attach it onto the back of this pattern paper in my Life Crafted album. And I am going to center it from top to bottom on this Life Crafted album page, just on the right side here, making sure everything is nice and lined up before I peel off the tape backing and stick everything down. And before I attach my other 2 flaps, the tall one is going to come out of the top of that page, and then the shorter one is going to come out of the bottom. Before I attach those, I am going to just mat them with some pattern paper. So I had taken that striped image and just printed it out repeatedly on some white cardstock so that I can use this as kind of my main pattern for this page. And I do want to be very careful to line up the stripes exactly on my flap compared to on the base page of my layout. And that's just going to form kind of a more cohesive effect. And as usual, when I'm matting my peepers, I am cutting this about a half an inch shorter and a half an inch narrower than the piece that I'm matting, so that it gives about an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And because I had rounded the corners on that flap, I am going to round the corners on the pattern paper as well to make it fit a bit better on this flap. Now that my pattern paper is all cut out and I know that this is going to match the stripes on my base page, I'm going to use some score tape to attach these down into place. Again, the tall one is coming out from the top and the short one is coming out from the bottom. And before I move on to the belly band, I am just going to adhere those pattern paper strips into place on those flaps. Once that's done, we can move on to the exciting part of creating the closure for this mechanism. So this hocus part with the witch on it is going to stay on the top flap, and this pocus part is going to go on this belly band that I've created. And here I'm just kind of closing it shut with a piece of score tape along that 1/2 inch hinge and just shutting it together to create that belly band there. And this belly band is going to slide and hold both of these pieces together, both of the flaps together, so that this mechanism stays shut when it's not needed. And then you can slide the pocus part down, and that will enable you to open up your mechanism. So before I can do that, I am just going to mat this middle piece of the belly band, just kind of measuring the width of the pattern paper that I need. And I'm not being terribly careful that this piece lines up with the rest of the background that I have going on because it is going to move around. And the good thing is this pattern here just so happens to be where the white section is at the top and the bottom. So it kind of blends in with the white cardstock that's underneath it. So I don't have to worry as much if everything lines up or not. And just attaching this down with my Tombow Mono permanent adhesive tape runner. And after that's done, I'm just going to position my hocus piece so that it's right above where that belly band would be. And then the pocus part is just lining up with the top of that belly band so that it still reads hocus pocus. And then you could slide that pocus part down. So here I'm using my Zig two-way glue pen just because there are some areas like around the witch with that semicircle that are a bit more delicate and I don't want to get any adhesive on the vellum. But pretty much I want to avoid the very right side and the very left side of that cut file because they're going to be overhanging the edges of the flap that I have there. So if you put adhesive there, then there is a chance that it can attach down to the base page and then this flap won't be able to lift up. But I'm just pressing that down, making sure that there's no adhesive that has leaked out, and then I'm going to attach this pocus part onto the top of that belly band. I've also cut out some extra ones of those yellow stars and back them, and I've also saved out all of the fallouts from those black glitter cardstock stars that I had cut out. So these are just the fallouts from the centers of those stars. And I'm going to scatter these around the page as well as add some to the right side, the left side of my layout as well to kind of make everything go well together. So just playing around with the placement of these, I did decide to add one to the bottom and then one to the top there, but then I saved the other ones to attach onto the other page. And here's a look at all of my journaling cards with the photos in them. I'll have some pictures up on my Instagram account as well if you guys wanted to read the journaling or if you wanted to see these photos in more detail. But these are pretty much all of the Halloween related things that I did during the month of October. And as I'm closing this belly band, I am noticing that it is sliding down because of gravity, and I am going to be fixing that later. But for now, I'm moving on to the left side of the spread. I just pretty much printed out 3 more of those journaling cards. Some of them were the same ones as the ones I had used for the right side of the page. And I'm just kind of layering them together like pieces of pattern paper behind my main journaling card here, and then just adhering that main journaling card down with some 3D foam tape to give it a bit more dimension on my page, because the left side of this page is going to be a bit more simple. And here's where I'm trying to debate what I want to do about this belly band, because it keeps sliding down because of gravity. It is kind of a bit of a heavier piece because it does have that colored paper as well as the black glitter cardstock, and then the belly band of course has some weight. But I figured if I attach some magnets to this, then it would probably stay in place. So I have a magnet here that I'm attaching to the bottom of that flap, just adhering it down with some score tape there. I am going to cover this back side with some pattern paper later on. And then to make sure that my magnet is in the right place on the belly band, I'm going to just snap a magnet into place. So if you drop a magnet onto the other magnet, it just automatically attracts to the right place. And then I'm going to take a piece of score tape and put it with the sticky side up facing the magnet, so that when I slide my belly band into place and then kind of press around where that magnet would be, it picks up on the sticky score tape, and then I have my magnet on the inside of the belly band. So I'm going to have to figure out how to mat this inside of the belly band so that the magnet doesn't accidentally come out. So I am going to cut another piece of this pattern paper and just mat the inside of that as well. So it does take a bit of finagling to get that pattern paper into place inside of that belly band, but I do manage to get that inside and covering the magnet. But I do recommend, if you do want to mat the inside of your belly band, to mat it before you put the belly band together, because otherwise it is a lot harder to do. Just adhering down that pattern paper onto the top flap to hide the other magnet, and after that's done, I just adhered some more of those stars onto the left side of the page, and that finishes up this layout. Just between you and me, Halloween is not my favorite holiday of the year, so that's why I never do like an October daily or anything like that. So I'm so happy that I was able to get all 7 stories documented on this one layout, and I didn't even purchase any of the Citrus Twist Halloween products, nor did I request them to be sent to me. So I'm really impressed that I was able to pull this off with just a cut file and some digital products. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more crafty inspiration. Thanks so much for watching!